You do not want to be missing out on this unique base design for your next wipe. Introducing the Moss. An egg core bunker base which comes with detached funnel walls which act as anti-roof for the main TC. They come with some awesome peaks and turret cover for both the compound, shooting floor, and shotgun traps are hidden throughout these so they can surprise raiders, along with flank respawn areas that can be turned into farm plots. A simplistic shooting floor maximizes your mobility, along with a spacious second floor and 3 wall core, which is sealed using a roof bunker. Like usual, we have 3 flank meta TCs that come with their own bunkers, making this an expensive raid for all your loot. The base comes with a very manageable upkeep as well, so you can build this as a solo if you're dedicated enough. We start off the tour showing off the 2 flank TCs on either side. You will find 3 of these throughout the base. There is a respawn area inside here protected behind a garage door and single door. You can switch out this embrasure however you like, so I like to use vertical here, but you can replace it with a horizontal if you prefer that. So to open one of our bunkers, we simply place a twig here and it demolishes the floor. Inside this bunker we have our large battery, TC, as well as some storage. Here is the upkeep of each external TC, and as previously mentioned, there are 3 of them. I'm sure you might be able to fit more storage inside that bunker using barrels, so that is something to be aware of. We enter the base through one of the 3 entrances, which are airlocked. You will then find some retake Patrico peaks covering the compound, as well as some small boxes for your kits. You will also find some shotgun traps above that cover the funnel wall. These small boxes can be replaced with planters so they cover your feet. While you open the double door, it's effectively airlocked. By jumping up onto this ramp here, and then on the frame, we can access our turret. This is also a great way to actually retake the shooting floor. Right now these gaps are protected by siren lights, so raiders can't just jump simply into your shooting floor. And of course this area is protected by turrets, so they won't be able to easily use this anyway if you have turrets set up. These garage doors can actually be opened and closed from the shooting floor as well as from below, so it gains you some extra angles you can fight from. You might want to also add some hammers inside boxes inside your respawn areas. This will allow you to take off the siren light and access your shooting floor. When you open these garage doors, the turrets from the shooting floor can also cover down into the compound. These are player activated, but you could use heartbeat sensors within the compound to open these, and even add more turrets behind the garage doors. I will now speed up the tour just so we can get around to the other side. Behind one of these 6 garage doors is the real entrance. This keeps raiders guessing, and I do recommend putting a standard garage door skin without the see-through part. We enter the base through a simple single door airlock, allowing you to have a decent progression throughout the wipe. Now we enter the second floor where we find most of our secondary storage. You can customize this however you like, but this is just one configuration you could use. We can then drop down into the bunker area. Of course you can add shelves within this area next to the TC and then on the other side as well. It's up to you how many sleeping bags you want to put inside this core as well, so that is one thing to think about. You'll also find your bunker. You can simply seal it and then remove it like so by hatcheting out the wood foundation. You can then put a temporary twig staircase to access the second floor a little bit easier. We can then enter the shooting floor through this ladder hatch. You'll then have some windows just to look around as well as some lockers behind them. On each of the sides you'll find double doors. You can replace one of these with windows, but I like the extra angles you can achieve with both doors. You'll then find some unique peaks with this low wall and then windows below it. You can actually open and close using these shutters. And then we come over to this side of the shooting floor. The triangle floor that I'm stood on right now is actually attached to the external TC and the funnel wall. This means if the main base gets called, the turret will actually still be there. You will then find some Patrico peaks with ramps that cover your head on each of the sides, and you can see that the turret below actually covers the shooting floor as well. You can see how easy it is to quickly rotate around the shooting floor with all the doors open. Of course I don't recommend actually doing that in a wipe, you should close and open garage doors accordingly. On each of the 3 sides you'll find access to the other floor, which will then come with its own roof retake peaks onto the landing pad. You will also find some extra deployable space up here. You could put a new triangle planter in the center if you'd like to do a tiny farm as well. You will then find a landing pad as well as spots for optional turrets, which I'll show in the build. Before that though, a quick word from our sponsor. Are you looking for a new server to try my bases on? Look no further than the Rustic Network, which offers a wide range of unique features, including 2x gather, boosted quarry rates, which allow all types of resources from any quarry, tailored loot tables, all designed by a close friend with over 8,000 hours. Their servers wipe twice a week, great for weekend players. If you want to find out more, you can check out their links down in the description below. So to start off the build, you want to simply place down a egg starter. This is quite commonly just 2 squares and then a triangle. You can of course just start out with 1 square if you want to claim a build spot early without farming a lot of resources. You then want to place your TC in one of the corners. You can put it on the left or right hand side square, it's up to you. But make sure it's tucked nicely into the corner, otherwise you can't add the shelf. We will then add a shelf right now, but you can do this at a later stage if you'd like, just before you add the honeycomb. You can then do this on the other side as well, not just the TC side, and then you want to add your double doors. So this is what it should look like at this stage. Of course, when you're ready you can add garage doors, but this isn't vital at the early stages. You can then expand and place a wooden foundation. Don't upgrade it any further than this, as this is where your bunker will be. Then you want to protect it using stone foundations on either side, and then place a triangle raised foundation and upgrade it to HQM when you can. You then want to protect this soft side by adding half walls of metal, and then walls on either side. Then you want to expand this jump up by adding full walls around it. And then you want to also add a shelf above this by adding a half wall in front and then demolishing it. And then you can add your double door. You'll also want to replace the garage door below as well. So I'll just quickly show you how to use the bunker. Place a ramp here and upgrade it to whatever level you'd like. To demolish it, you simply have to hatchet out this wood here and then replace it later. While playing a wipe, you might want to put a twig staircase if it's easier to jump up. You can also use furnaces in early game as well. Now we want to honeycomb the base by adding triangle foundations around every square. This will be done after we add a permanent ramp to access our second floor and of course access our base. Now we will add the honeycomb on each of the sides. You want to also add a wall inside this honeycomb. You don't have to upgrade this to metal as it only prevents splash. And then you want to repeat this on the 3 sides. Before adding the 3rd layer of honeycomb later in the build, you want to upgrade these outer walls and foundations to metal. You'll then also want to upgrade the core to HQM. I will do all of this now so it's all at the final level. So this is what you should be left with. Now we will complete our second floor. So on the triangle to the right of this ramp here, we want to place a floor. This is permanent, so you can upgrade it to stone. And then you add a simple single door airlock, and then you can wall in the rest like this. Then you want to add your roof. However, you want to put a ladder hatch here, so you will have to put a frame. And then just above this frame, you can add your windows and doors and just seal it in straight away. Another option is adding a wooden floor and then soft siding it later. Then you want to put double door frames in the remaining spots, apart from the ones that access the 2 triangles. This will be a windowed loot room. This is what it should look like. Now I will add the single door and windows as previously mentioned. You could have done this at an earlier stage if you don't have a ladder hatch, but you do have a window BP. This might be a better option to seal in this area. I will now go round and add the final level of honeycomb to the core. This will all be stone. You want to add ramps in this configuration, and then you want to add a triangle honeycomb next to our other triangles. So that will be these two triangles here. And then repeat this on the other two sides as well. Now we will complete a simple shooting floor before we add the flank respawn areas and our funnel walls. This is done by adding two half walls, then windows on top, seal it with a floor, and then add a low wall here. You'll then also want to add a frame here, and then repeat this on the other two sides as well, but make sure you also add your shutters and your simple window bars. The shutters should be facing inwards so you can close and open them from the inside of your base. I will now repeat this on the other two sides and skip forward. So once you've done that, you want to come to this side here and add doors. These will be permanent, so you can just add your double doors straight into these. I will add all of the doors later, so I'll just add the frames. So this is what it should look like, and then you can add these floors here. Then you want to add your jump up on either side. You can add this slightly later if you want, but it's probably better just getting it straight out of the way and adding your window glass and then garage doors. You can then add your double doors here, sealing in this early game shooting floor. You will then want to add garage doors here just to increase the raid cost into each section of the shooting floor. This can be done later as this is quite expensive in gears and metal. You'll then also want to add a bed early on so you can use the windows just below the shooting floor with the shutters and also have a decent respawn timer. Now we will do our funnel walls. You want to build out by these twig foundations on each of the sides. You want to build out by 3 triangles, a square, and then another 2 triangles. Then demolish everything but the last triangle you placed, and then build back by 2 squares, and this is your final foundation, and you can upgrade this to metal. Then expand off by 2 triangles on either side, and upgrade these to metal as well, and then place a triangle on the back side too. So it should look like this, and note that symmetry is on, so just repeat this. So first we want to upkeep this area, otherwise it will decay. We do this by adding 2 half walls so we can actually disconnect this TC, and then 2 single doors, one opening to the left hand side. Now we want to expand off this by 1 triangle, 3 squares, and then you can upgrade the final 2 squares like this. This is where it will connect to our meta TC. You then want to add these foundations in this configuration just as twig first. You then want to demolish the inner triangle like this, and then raise the triangle on the left hand side and upgrade it to metal. You then want to upgrade these outer foundations to metal as well, but add 2 half walls, a floor, and then a triangle frame. You then want to raise a foundation in the middle and upgrade it to HQM. And then you can upgrade the inner triangle foundation to stone, and then the outer ones to metal, and then add full walls on all sides. And then add 2 temporary half walls just to place the half walls above, and you can demolish these and then add a floor above. Now at this stage this is pretty much completely, so you can just add a doorway to cover it. And then you can just add your TC and a doorway if you'd like. But before we do that, we want to check our bunker even works. So to do that, we can simply place a twig floor and then a twig roof, and this will demolish the floor. If this is done, you can then place a floor and upgrade it to metal to increase the raid cost to your TC, battery, and other storage. So once you've done that early game, you can then expand each of the TCs and add your little flank respawn area. So you want to add ramps here just to increase the soft side raid cost. You'll also want to connect this early on so you can upkeep the funnel wall area as well as your other respawn area. You only want to add a frame next to the double door, otherwise you won't be able to place the roof. Like previously mentioned, you can either put a vertical embrasure or a horizontal embrasure, it's up to you. Now we will complete our funnel wall. Make sure the double door opens outwards. Then you now want to build some simple Patrico peaks that are very common. You want to add a full wall on the backside, a half wall, and then a floor on top and a low wall below. We then want to repeat this on both sides. And then we'll add a ramp. However, you don't want to add this ramp if you have the vanilla stone skin. You want to add the triangle frame off it first before you upgrade to stone. Otherwise, if I just quickly show here, without demolishing the foundation of course. If you place the ramp here and then upgrade to the vanilla stone skin, you will not be able to place the frame. This will prevent you from placing the chain link and the jump up. However, if you do make the mistake of upgrading it first and then not being able to place the frame, you can upgrade the roof ramp to metal and you'll still be able to place the frame. So that's another option just to save it, but obviously this is a cheaper way if you want to keep it stone, instead of increasing the metal cost. And then you want to add frames on either side like so. And then it's vital that you place roof triangles here and not square roofs, otherwise it will connect to the shooting floor and it will then destroy the TCs. It will say that you can't connect two TCs, so you must place triangle roofs on either side here, and then you can upgrade the middle one to metal, and this will be a square one in the middle. You do not want to add a frame here, but you want to add triangle frames just connected to the main TC, and then ramps off these, and this will protect our shotgun trap area. But first, we want to add frames on either side like this. This will be for our garage doors that we can open and close, or you can just leave them open if you prefer the more angles. Then add half walls and then low walls above. And then ramps like so. Now before we add this floor here, we want to actually build the two walls that come off the main TC. To do this, these will effectively be floating, so they must be attached to the window frames on either side like this. And you can also add frames here to support them a little bit better. You can even add a middle frame here and add a garage door, and it actually allows you to place the floor below, like this. It's kind of crazy because then you can put a garage door in the middle of a triangle. It's very unique. So that is an option just to increase a little bit more protection and raid cost. So I'll then add horizontal embrasure on either side, fill in the floor, and then you can add your Patrico peaks using the ramps. You don't have to add these ramps if you prefer the increased vision, but I'd recommend adding them. Now you simply want to add all of the deployables, so that would be the chain link and then the turrets as well. You can also add a little bit more cover if you want to use these retake peaks a little bit more, but I prefer to leave them open to increase the angles that you can get from the shooting floor. You of course want to make sure that you add the horizontal embrasures into the Patrico Peak bedrooms. These can be placed either way, depends what kind of angles you want, but I like placing them so they face outwards. You also want to place your respawn boxes for your kits. You can also add a farming area here which gives you the perfect crouch height for when using the Patrico Peaks. However, you can replace this with a respawn area. I think that's better in this situation. So instead of adding boxes like I did in the tour, you can actually add planters, and this will also protect your feet when the double door is open. And this of course can be used for farming. So now we will complete the compound real quick, so we can add walls on either sides that connect off these flank respawn areas. You also want to upgrade these walls to metal. And then we will add a barricade here. You can also add barricades around this whole flank TC just to seal the compound in a little bit better. Then you want to place the walls like this. It's not very strict, so you should be able to do this quite easily. When placing the final wall, you want to hold Shift or Alt. I can't remember what the keybind is, but it will allow you to place it a little bit easier. And then you can place your large furnace as well. And now we'll complete the roof. Add triangle roofs on either side. Ignore the visual glitch of the triangle roofs, they should all connect, it's just the build server symmetry. And then on top of here you want to add a single door for your roof retake peak, and then 4 walls on either side. I actually prefer not adding single doors inside these retake peaks, as if you have single doors you have to open it, and then close it, and then open it again to even peek up, so raiders can literally see you opening the door and pre-aim you. So I think it's actually better just leaving no doors. And then you want to also add these double doors that open outwards, which airlock this roof area. And then of course, add doors and windows. Then on top you can add frames, and then you can add your squares for your windmills. You probably won't need 3 windmills, but that is an option if you want to. You can then add optional turret pods behind these double doors that we can add chain link to. I'll show that later in the deployable part. You also want to add siren lights to here. This will prevent raiders from jumping up into your shooting floor. However, if you actually have a hammer inside the shooting floor or in your flank bedroom, you can take these off quickly and drop down into the compound. It's quite an easy way out of your shooting floor, and then back up into your shooting floor in the case of a raid. Now I will run through some deployables. I now won't talk over this part while I run through the deployables, so I'll thank you very much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the rest of the video. If you did like what you saw, please consider commenting and liking, subscribing, join the Discord community as usual. It is always greatly appreciated.